I welcome you to this week's edition of The Maze on ASO Television, the program that gives you a summary of every week's proceedings at both chambers of the National Assembly. I am Rosemary UKOKO-TEGA. Topping today's chart: screening of ministerial nominees at Senate, composition of 134 House standing committees, outcome of investigative sessions of the House on fuel pump price increase, alleged job racketeering. For details of this and other proceedings, stay with us on ASO Television. We are live on DSTV channel 392, Star Times TV channel 127, Free TV channel 507. On the UHF band, you can find us on channel 38.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
You're watching The Maze on ASO Television, and we start off from the Red Chamber. One top proceeding on the floor of the Senate was receipt of ministerial list from the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and subsequent commencement of screening. In all, 47 nominees were sent in two batches of two different lists by the President. We have some scenes from the week-long exercise on the floor of the Senate.
Do I go ahead? No.
I'm humbled by the kind words coming from the distinguished senators of the Federal Republic about me. When I was running for the governorship of Enugu State, unfortunately, Enugu State has a 52.9% unemployment rate. Unfortunately. Enugu State has an unemployment rate of 52.9%. Simply, what we were looking at from my team was to use agriculture in the state as the main area of employment.
When I'm given this opportunity, I think the first thing I'll do two things. One, I will have to engage the services of some data consultants who will have to establish that so that to have the exact figure. But majorly, we have to engage the Nigerian Population Commission, who they are about to conduct census for Nigeria within the next few months or to come.
Colleagues, distinguished colleagues, perhaps I should inform you that I've received petitions from many other people in respect of other nominees. But this is not where we are to deal with petitions. Our job here is to screen. And then, of course, we can refer petitions to where petitions will be dealt with. These are the nominees of Mr. President. If it is something that is a formal petition before the Senate, we will look at it formally. But there are certain petitions we have to refer back to either the presidency or security agencies to look at. And that has nothing to do with us. So I think by the time we are going into the issue of confirmation and approval, we will be so advised. So I will want to plead with my brother to take a bow. Take a bow. So don't bother about. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Screening of more nominees from the second batch continues next week. Another major event at the National Assembly within the week was the audience granted to protesting members of labor unions in the country. National Assembly team led by the Senate Chief Whip, Senator Alim Dume, pledged to see to the executive's prompt response to all demands tabled by the unions. The Senate Chief Whip was in the company of other lawmakers, including Senator representing FCT on the platform of Labour Party, Senator Ireti Kingibe. Let's have them on the mic.
Solidarity! As I said, fellow comrades, we have motion on ground. The Senate is going to be involved. Please give us 1 week and we will report progress. So I am begging you to call up the strike and give us 1 week and we will report progress, and if you are not satisfied with the progress we are making, then you can take further action. Please.
So, I know the Nigeria that bred me is not the Nigeria you have. My first job came with a house, a beetle, and 500 naira, and that 500 naira bought me everything. So I know the issues. And I also am a mother. I have children who are your ages that I want to inherit a better Nigeria. So please, just give us a chance to get involved, just a little chance, and we will make sure if things are not resolved in your favor,
Labour leaders NLC's Comrade Joe Ajero and TUC's Comrade Festus Osifo had earlier stated reasons for staging the protest. Here.
We believe strongly that you cannot ask Nigerians to keep tightening our belts. You cannot ask Nigerians to keep sacrificing. You cannot ask a man who barely have 1 meal a day to now be eating gari for that day. The Nigerian masses have been battered. The Nigerian masses have suffered. The Nigerian masses are passing through excruciating difficulties. But in all of these, we have not heard what the president of the country has said regarding the cost of governance. We have not, now we are screening ministers. These ministers will go back, they will have 10 aides. Those their 10 aides are going to have senior assistants. The senior assistant will now have a PA to the senior assistant to the minister's aide. Before you know, the numbers will go outside the roof. It is at this time when Senate and House of Reps, whether it was in the Appropriation Act before now, whether it was in the supplementary bill, we think grossly that it is grossly insensitive for us to be muting to spend 70 billion. We heard that they want to use it to fill their offices. We have told them to pay a visit to the secretariat, it is just here, and see how people are suffering. To go to the secretariat and see that people work without light for months. To see that in the secretariat, to even go to toilet, everywhere is smelling. So we are all equal Nigerians. We have equal stake in Project Nigeria. We want you in National Assembly to show sacrifice. We want you in National Assembly to cut down your budget. We want you in National Assembly to go and buy Innosi motors. We don't want you to go and buy Toyota, to go and buy imported vehicles, because you are creating jobs over there and you are importing suffering here. There is nothing wrong in using Innosi motors or locally assembled vehicles in Nigeria. You must show leadership. You must lead from the front, because we elected you to work for us. We know also that yes, the condition with which you work is also important. We are not insensitive, but all we are saying is that you must sacrifice.
It is now only patriotic to hold sway for the outcome of the romance between the legislature and the executive, hoping it will quell the grievances. Let's forge ahead with some other top proceedings. From the House, a total of 134 standing committees to carry on with legislative oversights and other functions, as well as their heads, were announced by the Speaker, Mr. Tajuddin Abbas. A lawmaker from Borno State, Mr. Mukhtar Bertara, who was Chairman House Committee on Appropriation in the 9th Assembly, was named Chairman House Committee on FCT. Here is the Speaker with complete list, which is 25 higher than the 109 operated by the 9th House.
AIDS, loans and debt management. We have Honorable Abubakar Nalaraba, APC Nasarawa, as the chairman, while Honorable Larry Okundola, APC Lagos, as his deputy. Appropriation Committee, we have Honorable Abubakar Bichi as the chairman, Honorable Idu Igarwe, PDP Ebonyi, as his deputy. Constitutional Review, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, IBM is the chairman of the committee, while Honorable Julius Eobere will deputize for him. House Services, we have Honorable Amos Daniel Kaduna as the chairman, while Honorable Ishaya Lalu as the deputy. Alternative Education, we have Honorable Aliyu Ibrahim Al-Mustafa as the chairman, while Honorable Akinosi Olatunji is his deputy. Public Petitions, Honorable Mike Etaba is the chairman, while his deputy is Honorable Adamu Ibrahim Gamawa. Hydrological Services, HYPADEC, we have Honorable Mahmoud Abdullahi Agaye as the chairman, while Honorable Apopol as his deputy. Committee on Ports and Harbour, we have Honorable Inoli Naji as the chairman, while Honorable Yemi Ali is his deputy. Agricultural Production and Services, we have Honorable Bella Kaoje as the chairman, while Honorable Kelechi Nwogu will be his deputy. Committee on Works, we have Honorable Akin Alabi as the chairman, while Honorable Architect Usman Banye as his deputy. Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, we have Honorable Ibori Suenu as the chair, while Honorable Jafuru Leko will be the deputy. Local Content, Honorable Boma Guded is the chair, while Honorable Sheyi Sheomi is the deputy. National Planning and Economic Development, where Honorable Ishaka Ibrahim as the chairman, while Honorable Clement Jimbo is the deputy. Committee on Food and Drugs Administration and Control, we have Honorable Mrs. Regina Akwime as the chairperson, while Honorable Emeka Idu Godwin is the deputy. University Education, we have Honorable Abubakar Fulata as the chairman, while Honorable Ete Ipong as the deputy. Committee on Land Transport, we have Honorable Blessing Uno as the chair, while Honorable Fayinka Oluwatoyin as the deputy. Legislative Committee on Legislative Compliance, we have Honorable Yusuf Badaw as the chairman, while Honorable Gwacha Maureen Chinwe as the deputy. FCT Judiciary, we have Honorable David Zakaria as the chairperson, as the chairman, while Honorable Ibe Osonwa as the deputy. Committee on Finance, we have Honorable James Faleke as the chairman, while Honorable Seydou Musa Abdullahi as the deputy. Committee on Commerce, we have Honorable Ahmed Munir Lere as the chairman, Honorable James Barker as the deputy. Committee on Information Technology, we have Honorable Stanley Olaide as the chairman, while Honorable Jingi Rufai as the deputy. We have Committee on Agri Colleges and Institutions. We have Honorable Akim Adeyemi as the chairman, while Honorable Idris Salman is the deputy. Committee on Judiciary. We have Honorable Wale Oke as the chairman, while Honorable Mohammed Danjuma is his deputy. Delegated legislation. We have Honorable Femi Bamishile as the chairman, with Honorable Okafo Dominic Ifeanyi as the deputy. Ecological Funds, we have Honorable Aminu Jaji as the chairman, while Honorable Oyedeji Najimdin Oyeshina as the deputy. Federal Capital Territory Committee, we have Honorable Mukhtar Betera as the chairman, while Honorable Chinedu Imeka Martins as the deputy. Federal Road Safety Maintenance Agency, we have Honorable Remi Husseini as the chairman, while Honorable Sadiq Angu Abdullahi is the deputy. Committee on Power, we have Honorable Victor Nwokolo as the chairman, while Honorable Joshua Ghana will be his deputy. Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, we have Honorable Khadija Bukar as the chairperson, with Honorable Ududo as the deputy. Northeast Development Commission, we have Honorable Usman Zanna as the chairman, with Honorable Kabir Yusuf as the deputy. Committee on Public Accounts, we have Honorable Bamidele Salami as the chairman, and Honorable JJ Umaru as the deputy. Committee on Federal Character, we have Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase as the chairman, with Honorable Adebayo Adepoju as the deputy. Committee on Air Force, we have Honorable Al-Hassan Rurum as the chairman, with Honorable Rufus Ojawo as the deputy. Army, we have Aviation, we have Honorable Abdullah Idris Garba as the chairman, with Honorable Festus Akimbaso as the deputy. Committee on Rural Electrification, we have Honorable Ibrahim Bukar as the chairman, with Honorable Ozigi Mohamed Tijani as the deputy. Committee on Aviation Technology, we have Honorable Thomas Iretomi as the chairman, with Honorable Yahya Suleiman Richifa as the deputy. Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of Standing and Ad hoc Committees, We have Honorable Obi Ogwocha as the chairman, with Honorable Sani Igidi Abdulrahim as the deputy. Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of Implementation of Legislative Agenda, we have Honorable Patrick Umo as the chair, with Honorable Chinwe Enabule as the deputy. House Committee on Institutional Reforms, we have Honorable Emmanuel Upon Udo as the chairman, with Honorable Abdullah Rashid as the deputy. Distinguished colleagues, these are the standing committees, and our standing rules. I hereby integrate the standing committees and charge you to be committed to the promotion of peace, order, and good governance of our nation. Thank you as I wish you success in the discharge of your various committee assignments. Good luck and best wishes. You may sit down, please.
The Speaker also addressed colleagues on the formation amid possible insinuations.
My call is that whatever we do, whatever is said, we should try and take in good faith. We believe that we have done the best we can to carry everyone along and to do the needful. There is no any bias or selfish interest put in whatever we are going to announce. You will recall that the leadership of the House has consistently assured members of its resolve to be fair to all, irrespective of political leanings and affiliations. There are no grade A, nor the so-called juicy committees, as some erroneously often think. Every committee of the House enjoys equal status, powers, and privileges as mere working groups to discharge the mandate given to us by our constituents. Let me state unequivocally that all members of committees have equal status and must be carried along as such. Committee chairmen are only administrative heads who must ensure the involvement of every member in the activities of committees. The principle of teamwork should guide our engagement in these committees.
One member heading the Committee on Defense, Mr. Babajimi Benson, spoke to journalists on the task before him.
Yes, we're grateful to Mr. Speaker for deeming us worthy to chair or deputize in the committee. We pledge to do more. We pledge to add value to this current administration. We're going to ensure that we have 3 service chiefs now, Army, Navy, Air Force. It is our best interest to create a 4th one, which is one that will be in charge of space and cyber. You know, in most modern democracies now, they have a space force that is chaired by a service chief. So one of our greatest priorities is to also ensure that that happens in Nigeria. If you have that, it ensures that your limited resources are distributed or harnessed in a more logical and nimble manner. So that will be uppermost in our minds as well. And again, ensuring that Nigeria is safe, oversighting the armed forces, and ensuring that there is peace. It is only where there is peace that you will have meaningful development. So that's our priority.
Now, in what appeared to be a vote of confidence on the Speaker's pronouncement, some members briefed newsmen dismissing any rumored trailing displeasure from any quarter. The group of lawmakers tagged Like Minds was led by its spokesman, Mr. Ugochinyere Ikenga.
He was able to marry all these interests to ensure that different interests are well respected, represented in the composition. There's other avenues for people to contribute to the legislative growth of the country. And that opportunity, he assured us from the beginning, and from what he has done, he has started living up to those expectations. So majority of members in this parliament are commending the leadership of the 10th House of Representatives. So the parliament is now more united than ever. You saw a composition that cuts across different interests, including those who fought him or those who didn't even agree with him. There was no winner, there was no victor, there was no vanquished. And I also want to urge Nigerians to help to the over-dramatization, over-classification of these committees, as if to say it's a business. These are for national responsibility. It's not about making money or anything. There will be teamwork, joint sittings on investigative hearing, joint sittings in budget defense. So the country is not going to lose money because we have resolved that for nation building to work, there must be joint tax. So in that joint tax, to make it to work, everybody must have responsibility for us to be able to have the details required to ensure that the output is good for the Nigerian people.
Still from the House, ad hoc committee investigating alleged job racketeering and mismanagement of the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System (IPPIS) held a two-day sitting majorly with the Federal Character Commission and Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Now, while the first session with the Federal Character Commission (FCC) had about 6 commissioners accusing Chairman of the Commission, Farida Dankaka, of selling job slots in dollars through federal ministries, departments, and agencies (MDAs), the second session had the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Folashade Yemi Eson, accusing a number of government MDAs of violating the recruitment waivers granted them by her office. First, we have here excerpts from the session with the FCC.
With utmost respect, sir, I want to respectfully refer this committee to Section 14, subsection 3 of the Constitution, which is the basis upon which the Federal Character Commission was established. And the essence is to ensure fairness, promote national unity, and command national loyalty. And that is the fulcrum, the basis on which the commission was based.
I'm here under oath to say nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the commission has not been running according to the rule of law due to the manner the chairman runs the commission.
Just to buttress some of the points that have been made earlier, I wish to submit a memo, internal memo, issued by the Secretary on behalf of Mr. Chairman, requesting that from July 14, 2023, nominal roll and CBI should now follow document. CBI is what we call Character Balance Index. By Character Balance Index, what this helps us to do is in any MDA, ministry, and department that is imbalance, we have a mechanism if that institution is recruiting. If they're recruiting 100 and they have 1,000, and let's say Lagos only has 2, the Character Balance Index will indicate how many should be recruited for Lagos State, from Lagos State, so that as we move forward, that particular MDA can be balanced. But since we came, July 2nd, 2020, the chairman has rebuffed, has refused all counsel, all efforts of the committee and commissioners on this side to use these tools to help balance the imbalance. And just July 14th, perhaps she had gotten wind of this investigation or thought that there's a new government in town and hence decided to issue a memo. I will submit this memo, which she now said that request for recruitment should now come with nominal roll and CBI.
Like my colleague from Oshun had said earlier, this is not a witch hunt on our path. We are just all here to ensure that the right thing is done. So
I came with an evidence. This I will submit. I'm supposed to supervise Science and Technology group. I'm the chairman of that committee. This, I brought only one, and if you ask for more, I can bring more. I brought just one to support what the Oshun and commissioner and others have said. As the chairman of the committee, there was a request for waiver, and it was sent to me. and I made the recommendation. I was working on it, but my chairman, my executive chairman, decided to send her staff to go and do the monitoring. Why I brought this up is because going through the file subsequently, she made a comment that I was aware and not ready to recommend for the certificate of compliance. I didn't go for the monitoring. I have all the documents. She suggested that an ordinary staff in her office go for the monitoring, and they went. And I didn't understand that. That confirms some of the things we've said. The fact that the place is not run properly.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I want to start by saying that I align myself totally with all the documents submitted in respect of the issues at stake. I want, however, add more, that we couldn't have gotten to this point if the chairman were a listening chairman. We are taking far-reaching steps to internally resolve these issues, to draw her attention to follow procedures and rules that are sufficiently explained to her, but she wouldn't listen. She would rather want to operate as a sole administrator.
I wish to refer to the sitting of the committee on Wednesday, 26 July 2023, and the allegation raised by some commissioners and decision of the committee that I should forward my response with documents to the committee. In compliance with this decision, therefore, I hereby submit my response to each of the allegations raised with relevant documents and for the committee to pursue for appropriate action. I pray the committee to find time to read it thoroughly, and I promise to make myself available for any other clarification that may be required. Please accept the assurance of my highest regard. Thank you.
Now to that of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation.
The Federal Civil Service Commission is the one in charge of all recruitment into the federal service. However, they are authorized to delegate. Anybody that has authority can delegate. And in their guidelines for appointment, promotion, and discipline, it is stated there that that responsibility of the commission has been delegated not only to the office of the head of service, but to every ministry. It's not only office of the head of service that recruits from grade level 1 to 6. That is it. It is all ministries that have that delegated authority from the Civil Service Commission. We have a department under the Permanent Secretary Special Duties Office that goes round, they will collect the waiver, and we've done it in such a way that it is not the office that issues the waiver that goes round to monitor, just so that we're sure of what is happening. And also because of our resources, unfortunately, we cannot go to every establishment. So what we do is to take establishments from each of the geopolitical zones and now go and monitor and ensure that they have not exceeded our waivers. And one thing that there are also, what we have done, we also wrote to the Accountant General of the Federation that they should ensure that the IPPIS department should not enroll any staff newly employed by any organization if they don't have 3 approvals. 1 from the Office of the Head of Service, 2nd from the Budget Office, and 3rd from the Federal Character Commission. So if any institution goes to them to enroll without any of these 3, then they should not be enrolled. And they should also follow, now that we have in our letters for waiver, we have actually put the cadres and requisites there. They must follow the cadre. So if we have granted waiver to employ, for example, 10 doctors and 2 accounts officers, and the institution turns it around, they cannot enroll more than what waiver we have given to them.
And here are some remarks from the committee.
My dear colleagues and our guests, my submission is that we should exhaust those who are against. Then the chairperson, it's fair hearing is a fundamental right, so that should be able to take all the allegations, accusation in totality, and then she'll respond to them.
Do us a huge favor by writing collectively to make reference to those documents in one submission signed by all of you and give this committee. Please, you already have the evidence. It's just to write covering letter endorsing by all of you that agree to submit. Some of those evidences are not here. To submit and give us is very important. With all your signatures, both for and against.
We were interested in the first instance with about 6-7 agencies. Because you give approval, you give waivers, you give certificate of compliance. So we want to hear from you. We are interested in the head of service of the Federation, Federal Character Commission, Federal Civil Service Commission, IPPS. We will engage them all today because we have petition against all of them. Budget Office. Petition, I say it clearly, against all of them. All the agencies I mentioned regarding to percentage collection, reticare, we have it factual.
Rounding off the program today, we also bring you a summary from a 2-day sitting of another ad hoc committee, which is investigating recent hike in fuel pump price. The committee, headed by a lawmaker from Lagos State, Mr. Babajimi Benson, met with the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and some other connected agencies. Here are some scenes before the committee's chairman's briefing of newsmen at the end of the 2-day session.
In economy, there's what we call exogenous factor. Exogenous, outside the model. So, endogenous is what is in the model, what you can control. So, our model is built, what we are trying to analyze is what is within our control. Let us even do, they say God will not do for us what he has given us power to do for ourselves. Let's leave God to do what the one he has not given us power to do. The price of crude oil in the international market is not determined by Nigeria. So whether it goes up or go down, but I can share you that over time, apart from instances where there is what we call external shocks, maybe during COVID, during 2008, United States mortgage meltdown, where there was a run in credit, in credit giving, there was credit crunch. Price of crude oil does not swing that far. Even if it's 100, it moves to 110, back to 100, back to 90, just oscillating along that position. The impact on the PMS will be minimal. The same thing with this exchange rate we are talking about. We are not saying that exchange rate is going to be at a point. Stability does not mean point analysis. Stability means that the central line, the volatility along the central line should not diverge so much. What Nigeria is feeling today is that you wake up one day, you're buying fuel at 145 or 150 or 160 and you're saying 500. If fuel has moved from 145 or 150 to 170, before 3 days, everybody will stop talking. So those ones are adjustment within the trend line. So international crude oil price adjusts gradually along the trend line. It will not hurt us that much. We're also trying to hold exchange rate to also move along the trend line. We are just praying that there shouldn't be a gallop divergence. Let's hope that something is not going to happen so shockingly that crude oil will move from 100 or 90 to 200, or 90 or 100 to 150. That's when it will pass seriously on PMS. As you see, I dwell elaborately on where we are looking at how our intervention is going to improve after a short while, after clearing backlog, and how NNPC earnings is expected to improve, and how the removal of opportunity for arbitrage has taken some demand out of the market. All this analysis on quantity, I didn't mention price. So once these things are in order, the price will stay where it is without you talking to the price. That's why we are hopeful that price is going to be stable in the long run if we keep this quantity arrangement in order, ensuring that supply goes up.
So in the corollary, you have let lose the price.
Yes, that is what we mean by unification.
And choose to control quantity.
Yes, what we're doing before, we're trying to control price while quantity can stay where they are. And that was what makes the pressure of demand building up. Everybody will stay at $1. And you will choose to give whoever you like at certain price without minding what the quantity is. You can see the difference. Now we are looking at, we don't have control over the price. CBN cannot be dictating price again for now, that's the current policy. So, but we cannot hands off from the market. So we are choosing the monopoly aspect of the quantity. And quantity comes in form of supply and demand. So if we align both of them, the economic theory says that price will settle where both of them settle at equilibrium. We try to ensure that there is no divergence between demand and supply over time.
Yesterday we met with IPMAN. The IPMAN admitted that the subsidy regime is here to stay because the House passed the PIA. The PIA came into effect last year, which means that the entire space is deregulated. It will be determined by the market forces. We feel the pains of the masses, so we had very fruitful engagement with IPMAN yesterday, and they suggested a way out, which is the CNG, compressed natural gas, that we should ensure that the idle funds, which amounts to about 250 billion naira, which is domiciled with the CBN, is tapped into. Now what that would do is that they give a comparison between petroleum prices and the price of CNG. CNG is compressed natural gas. They're proposing that cars and buses should be converted to use compressed natural gas, which is cheaper. So each individual will be able to convert their cars using government funds. So that is one way of doing it. Today we met with the midstream and we met with CBN. A component of pricing has to do with foreign exchange. Fortunately for us, that has also been converged because there's a single window, the black market rate and the official market rate, where the government is trying to make it one and the same. In doing that, we've been told that the demand for foreign exchange has gone down, which is good for Nigerians. And they've promised that within 4 months, we would see an increased flow of foreign exchange. We would also see a mass reduction in the volume of demand for foreign exchange. Secondly, this subsidy removal has caused a 30% reduction in the consumption of fuel, meaning that smuggling has drastically reduced or been totally eliminated. Now, are we happy with that? We're not happy. We're not happy because Nigerians are still hurting. Nigerians are still feeling the effects of the pump price increase. What can we do? Our job here is to ensure that the reduction, the increase in price, the impact is drastically attended to, and that Nigerians don't face untold hardship. I see a renewed hope. I see palliatives. The president spoke about 48 hours ago on how he intends to add succor to the struggling and suffering Nigerians. So very, very soon, I we propose or we recommend also that minimum wage be looked at. The CNG buses and co should be rapidly deployed so that it will eliminate the increase in transport. Transport costs, the high cost of transport has a catalytic effect on inflation and pricing for Nigerians.
Let's keep hope alive in the renewed hope. And that's it on the maize for the week. Till 8 p.m. next week, be good. I am Rosemary UKOKO-TEGA.